The absence of their assistant coach, Adam Visser, who passed away in February. Overcoming tragedy is a regular part of young people's lives. Ryan Field now with the story of a former player in this surrounding who has to overcome a great deal now.
In a moment, everything can change. Nobody knows that better than Jimmy Mosheri. Last year at this time, the Macomb Dakota senior top scorer on his team, leading his Cougars all the way to the state quarterfinals. But this past summer, Jimmy's world turned upside down. Driving home from a work function early one morning, Jimmy fell asleep behind the wheel, lost control of his car, and crashed.
I actually seen myself hit like a mailbox, and I blacked out. And I heard some lady talking to me. She was asking for my phone numbers, house. I just remember waking up in the hospital, hooked up to everything. It's just pretty nice. I didn't really have like a reaction, I didn't break down, I didn't cry, I didn't do all that.
I was actually sleeping, and my mom came downstairs, woke me up, and told me, she had told me some bad news. She told me that Jimmy got in an accident, he was in the hospital, and I remember the first thing I had to do was call Coach and let him know what happened.
You can't put into words your initial feelings or thought as you're on the phone. It's just blindsided would be one way to put it, disbelief.
2 weeks and 2 hospitals later, doctors told Jimmy the news he feared most. He's paralyzed from the waist down.
I obviously asked her, I go, well, what are my chances exactly? And she goes, they're low. And she goes, I could look up how low they are, what percentage. I go, yeah, do that. She never got back to me, but it's probably a good thing.
Have you ever stopped at any point and asked yourself, why me?
Maybe a little bit. I try not to do stuff that get me thinking like that, but yeah, I have. Because I've always been the person that was like, oh, that's like see something weird happen. That could never be me. That could never be me, but it's me.
He had D1 offers and all that, so it just hit us hard that he's not gonna be able to play anymore, you know. And not even thinking playing for Dakota, just like thinking about him walking and going on with his regular routine.
The disbelief came in of, you know, first of all, he was a great person. He doesn't do things to put himself in harm's way. He's in great shape. He was always the guy who did everything correctly. And at a lot of different levels, everyone looked at that on the team and who knew him very closely and said, if it can happen to him, it can happen to me.
Because of his condition, doctors told Jimmy he would miss his entire senior year. But lo and behold, he was back in class earlier this fall. His nurses have gone as far to say he's, quote, a superstar in therapy. He uses that same desire now in his new role as assistant coach.
It's been different. You know, I try as best I can to help. It's hard to get on like my friends, though. He stood there and he had to you know? He's got to help. He's got to get that. Get on him for it. I'm there as many practices as I can and know everything that's going on.
That's your job, Mike.
What kind of inspiration has that been to the guys on this team?
A lot of the common sentiments are that they just feel, you know, don't take today for granted. Don't take tomorrow's game for granted. Some days you need that refocus to look over and say, you know, I should appreciate being here today. I should I can do.
What have you learned about yourself through this experience?
I learned I'm pretty tough. I only broke down like once. My life's not bad right now, so can't get any worse.
Those are tough lessons learned. Our best to Jimmy Mosheri and the Macomb Dakota family, because basketball is, after all, family. He will be their teammate forever. We talked of Dan Posell's dunk here in the first half of the Class D championship game. It has been the Duncans, particularly Jason Duncan. That's a big part of a 13-point Trojan lead.
Now